All right, let's jump right into this explainer of The Echoes of Elm Street. Today, we're taking a really close look at a deeply unsettling piece of fiction that completely flips the traditional haunted house trope totally upside down. We're gonna follow our main character, Emily, and watch how her time in what seems like a quaint, charming Victorian house devolves into a complete psychological breakdown. To really set the stage here, we have to start with a chilling thought that instantly shatters our basic sense of safety. Emily, like a lot of us, absolutely loved old houses. So when she stumbled upon this small Victorian on Elm Street, she honestly thought she hit the jackpot. It had tons of charm, it was cheap, which, let's be real, in this housing market is the real shocker. And most importantly, she believed it was entirely empty. She moved in with literally just a suitcase. But as we'll see, the house was definitely not empty. On her very first night, Emily hears this faint, almost polite little anomaly, just a soft, lingering whisper of her name in the dark. And what does she do? Well, she dangerously brushes it off as just the wind. She tells herself, old houses make noises, it's fine. It's such a brilliant detail because it perfectly highlights our human tendency to rationalize the completely irrational just so we can stay comfortable. I mean, during the day, the sun pours in and everything seems perfectly normal. But at night, the whispers always return. Now, what's really fascinating here is the stark contrast between Emily's naive rationalizations and the sheer terror of what she actually walked into. On one hand, you have Emily's perspective. It's a charming aesthetic, a blank canvas for her new life. But on the flip side, the house's reality is exposed. Those whispers aren't just settling wood, they are highly targeted. The house is sentient, it's remembering, and it has been waiting.
Section 1. When the whispers began. The escalation of dread.
So this escalation of dread follows a really terrifying timeline, shifting from weird auditory anomalies to the outright manipulation of physical reality. Night 1, sure, it's just polite whispers, but later, she starts noticing things changing around her. Mirror reflections are just slightly off. Photos age rapidly, showing faces she doesn't even recognize. Then, forged notes start appearing, written perfectly in her own handwriting. Finally, the physical environment turns downright hostile. We're talking boiling kettles out of nowhere, twisting shadows and doors that suddenly refuse to open. And here is the crucial turning point. The house isn't just haunted by ghosts playing out past traumas on a loop. No, it is a living, breathing, sentient entity. It knows Emily. It actively perceives her, feels her presence, and most dreadfully of all, it actually remembers her deepest, darkest secrets and actively uses her inner life against her. Section 2. The House Remembers. Psychological Warfare. The house systematically strips away her mental defenses by literally weaponizing her own guilt. The whispers evolve into these clear, terribly familiar voices saying, "We've been waiting." Think about the methodology here. Step 1. It uncovers her childhood secret hiding spot. Step 2. It completely confronts her with a lie she once told her best friend. Step 3. It weaponizes a broken promise from her past. The house isn't using random monsters jumping out of closets. It's using her own internalized shame to break her down.
Section 3. The climax in the mirror. The final stand.
Barricaded in the bedroom, the tension just peaks. The whispers from the walls grow louder. They're angry, they're sad, and they are dreadfully familiar. They start overlapping, constantly asking, "Why did you forget me?" And the truly terrifying part is that it becomes totally impossible to tell where the house's voice ends and Emily's own suppressed conscience begins. When she reaches out and touches the walls, they actually feel alive. They're pulsing and breathing right beneath her fingertips. And then the mirror whispers her name. Looking into the glass, she doesn't see her normal reflection looking back. Instead, she sees this pale, smiling version of herself with entirely dark, empty eyes. This doppelganger delivers a terrifying, absolute promise. You'll stay with us forever. The house has physically manifested as her. This brings us to Emily's final, desperate resistance. She screams out, "No, I don't belong here!" But the only response she gets is the sound of her very own laugh, echoing back from the actual structural foundation of the house itself. As the lights violently flicker and the walls groan around her, the assimilation is complete. Her identity has been fully, entirely consumed. Section 4.
the chilling aftermath. The house resets.
So when the authorities finally open the house up later, it is completely, eerily empty. There is absolutely no sign of Emily anywhere. No struggle, no physical clues. The only thing left behind in the quiet are these faint, lingering whispers hanging in the air. The house has entirely reset itself. It's moved on, returning to its quiet, innocuous state, just patiently waiting for the next person looking for a charming Victorian.
But here is the final chilling proof of what really happened. Remember that forged handwriting Emily found earlier on? Well, a new tenant eventually arrives, and they find a polite little note pinned right to the front door. It reads, "Welcome, we've been waiting for you." That word, "we," is the true horror of this story. Emily is now part of the chorus. The house permanently absorbed her into its foundation just to lure in the next victim.
I want to leave you with a final, provocative thought that brings this whole concept of psychological horror right to your own front door. As the source material warns us, some houses are empty, some are haunted, but some, remember. Think about the walls around you right now. If your house could actually perceive your secrets, your deepest guilt and your fears, and if it decided to remember you, would you ever be able to leave? Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and definitely keep questioning what might be waiting in the quiet corners of your own space.